Hey guys, Nacho here, and just wanted to share my experience with running from 0 to Ubers in PoE for my first season. All the gameplay footage is just going to be from the Ubers fights. There's enough footage to cover everything that we're going to talk about here. So, um, first off, I guess my overall review of the season is pretty positive. I think the game is definitely pretty good and a decent position right now. I don't think progression feels technically I don't think progression feels super great. Definitely feels a little clunky, and the way that you're introduced to a lot of the systems is not very intuitive, not very laid out, I guess. In a lot of situations, I feel like you're just sped run through too many situations, or you're just not given enough information. Even through the campaign, you are just there's several areas where it tells you to go to a certain area to beat the boss or whatever, or save a person, right? Well, the area that you actually need to go is an area within that area. So instead of saying go to the Black Fortress past the Sandy Hill, it just says go to the Sandy Hill. So unless you know that you need to go to the Black Fortress or whatever the heck the stupid place is, then you're just kind of like running around in the campaign. So it just kind of felt bad. And there was just a lot of ambiguous wording with quite a few things where if you just didn't have prior knowledge, you're just kind of left in the dark. So after campaign, though, I think map progression's decent. Finishing the Atlas is a waste of time. I cannot believe that I actually had to run one of every single map. Honestly, it was like felt like the biggest chore in the entire world, just so that I could open up any endgame mapping strategies. Like way worse than gaining the Atlas points in PoE 2 right now. The time commitment alone was like 3 to 4 times the amount of time. That's at least what it felt like. Uh, Obviously, in the next couple times going through it, it'll be faster and whatnot. But I straight up just went and bought every single map and ran them. So you also don't make any currency running up through them, which you don't really in PoE 2 either. But yeah, I don't think progression felt terrible through maps, especially since I was playing trade. Like I just made a couple divs, bought the gear. I think I made 10 div total while I was mapping, doing some delve and whatnot. Uh, and then yeah, we just bought all the fragments for Ubers. This season, my goal was to just mechanically learn more things about the game and a couple of the different strategies and whatnot. Mainly through getting through Ubers and getting your character online. And there's not really a big reason to end game juice right now. None of the Ubers are that hard. All of them give you 6 portals. None of them have that much HP. So Cyrus is the only one that I actually had to buy more than one set of fragments for. Although every single Uber, I think I died at least once to some kind of mechanic. But can I also just kind of be laid out to I haven't done the fights before. Like for you to one and done every single one of these Ubers without understanding any of the mechanics going into it, it's just kind of like not likely. You have to practice all of the fights to get good at them. So I was pretty happy with my performance on all of them except for Cyrus. Cyrus just like I don't know what was up with the 3 wall maze thing. It just twisted my dick. I just couldn't get it for some reason. And then I got tilted after I lost my first set of portals. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. So Cyrus was the hard one for sure. All of the other ones I don't think they mechanically felt difficult at all. Like Shaper, what's he do? Uh, you know, um, this is the Fractal Guardian Gargantuan here. Yeah, I just got a map slot point here. I just had the footage, figured we'd throw it in with it. Um, yeah, we played Earth Shatter the whole way, pretty much. As far as endgame progression goes, we started with Sunder in the campaign, and then swapped over to Earth Shatter for all of the bossing and most of the mapping. Pretty much just following Karn's guide, plus or minus, with a little pivot depending on what kind of gear I actually have, whether or not I felt like it needed more HP or maybe a little accuracy. And also I played with the tree, myself just to kind of get an understanding of the weights of each of the different ways that you can go. Like I tried starting to farm deli, and I wanted to put ignore physical damage reduction into the tree, and I wanted more attack speed than he was running, and just a couple different things. And it's not hard to pivot in the tree. I think the skill tree in general feels okay. I don't think it feels as amazing as so many people made it out to be. Um, there is a decent amount of everything on the tree except attack speed. It turns out, like the same problem that we have in PoE 2 right now is that there's no attack speed on the tree, or it's just too hard to get. Well, same thing here. Like it just plays slow, or it's just, you know. And if I want to get attack speed, I have to dedicate 6 passive points. You know, it's like this is with T1 on my axe. I have it on my gloves. I have the implicit on my gloves. You know, like I have onslaught flask, and it's like still doesn't feel super great. Having resistance on the tree, I guess, is nice. Max life is nice. Yeah, I definitely enjoy having those. But at the same time, they're just kind of band-aids for problems. Like if you're missing max res, you're just gonna want to try and get it on gear still. You don't want to dedicate skill points for it. So while it's nice to have, you know, it's whatever. Shaper here, Shaper Elder combo. We this is one of the ones where I had to actually put on the thinking cap a little bit. Walked in, died instantly, and then just no idea what even killed me. So yeah, most of the Uber fights here, we just kind of adopted the don't stand still strategy. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. I couldn't tell you what most of the fights did because they weren't that hard, or because I had 6 portals for it. And yeah, just it's either you get one shot or you just don't die at all, right? Like there's very few things that can actually do enough damage to kill you. And one of them being like the big beam there, right? Like if you're just standing in dog shit stuff, of course you're gonna die. But other than that, it just felt like I died to things that were just gimmicky or not telegraphed or just poorly visualized. Also the immunity phases on Ubers is just like excessive, man. I understand you want to not have one-shot Ubers, but the amount of time that they have immunity phases and the amount of immunity phases is just kind of excessive. Maven fight. This fight was all right. This is a drag to get to. Literally, like all of these Ubers are a drag to fucking get to. I don't feel rewarded for going to fight them, like really at all, honestly. And then the ways that you die in the fights are just like gimmicky as fuck. Like I died there to the beam. I jumped through the beam, like in a second here. You know, it's like things that'll kill you one time, they don't kill you the next time. And like this memory game, what's the pace that you need to go to these things? Like there's just nothing telegraphed to you, so just die instantly. Then I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll wait next time or whatever. But now I'm just liable to die again because there's just nothing really to telegraph the pace other than it just said, yeah, do these 3 things. So yeah, like here I jump right through the beam, don't die, don't take any damage even. Like don't get a debuff, nothing really. Like it's just like consistency and mechanics feels weird on a lot of these fights. So here we just wait a little longer, but then we don't get it right. Now we gotta jump again, but we hit all 3 greens, and then we still had to go around again. Like the telegraphedness of some of these mechanics is just pretty poor in what they want you to do. And I understand having to force people to wait because that will kill people more because they're trying to rush through things, or like they want to feel like they're not wasting actions and time and stuff like that through the fight, right? Here I just don't even notice that she's doing the memory game, so we just eat the dust. And yeah, my build isn't even that crazy, honestly. I have like a 900 DPSX and just a standard tree. No tainted pack, no nothing, no helm for the extra damage on Warcry's stuff, and just plow them over. Honestly, like I don't think gear feels good enough in this game. I don't think it has a good enough weight to your build. Like it's okay. You feel a little bit of an upgrade. Like you're definitely doing more damage. But when I went from a 300 DPS X to an 800 DPS X, I wasn't like giga fucking everything. You know? It's just like doing a little more damage on bosses. And that was about it. And like I was way overtuned to actually do these Ubers because I figured that they would be a little bit more of a challenge. But even through the campaign, like going from one axe to my first axe to my second axe, I didn't feel any difference. And I went from like 100 DPS to 300 DPS on my axe. So I think defensively also, each individual piece of gear didn't really stand out from another piece of gear. I like the chest, I suppose, was the most significant piece because I got like a 4K armor chest or whatever, right? But I don't think gear feels rewarding enough. Like I have zero want to push my build past where it is because there's no content to do, and I did it with almost no gear at all. And there's so many builds that do this, and I understand it's an old game and people understand how to get through it. It's kind of like D2, right? On that end, but I feel like there's a lot of improvement to be made on the progression feel of gear in specific in this game. Still. So here's the gear that we went for this patch. So we went with the the Heart of Flame graft. This is just a huge shield. That tech's pretty good. And then we went with Seize the Flesh. This does so much fucking damage. Like it's actually kind of bonkers how much damage this thing does. And then it causes bleeding and impale, and it's just such a busted graft. Pretty standard wall axe here. Yeah, it's 827 DPS. Got some attack speed. Enemy or life per hit actually is pretty good for some of the recovery maps. Just chaos res and some life here. Went with the 4K armor chest. We couldn't get one with no life on it. Or we did, but it didn't have enough armor. So we got some PDR on this one as well, and just ran this up. The glove, attack speed, a little suppressed spell damage there, armor, life, a little bit accuracy. We were gonna make the Stygian Vice, but we just never got around to it. Didn't need it. It would be an upgrade, but yeah, I just didn't end up needing it, so we never got to crafting it. And also, like, it took so long to get all of my Atlas points and Void Stones and stuff like that. It's like I don't really see a point in farming much more gear for the build. So it's like, yeah, I could get another 1k HP, but in softcore trade, for what? If I was playing hardcore, sure, but the game's not balanced for solo self-found. It's balanced for trade. Like this is the intended gameplay style. So I just don't feel like I have anything to reach for with the gear anymore. Like I guess I could more efficiently farm T17s, but the problem with T17s is they don't open up any loot for you. Like I'm not, this is really not anything. Like the only thing that I could really start upgrading is like my armor value on things and start investing into suppress, but there's no big boss to farm for me to do anything with it. Like I can push delve. Delve was my original idea, but honestly, pushing delve just even to 250 took so fucking long. I don't even want to keep pushing to 1,000, and you just get to crawl through the whole thing. Even if you run 2 maps, go back over to delve and then dump it in there, 25,000, 30,000 sulfite. Like it just, I don't know. I was imagining it feeling better, but I just that didn't feel better. So this is the skill tree that I went for. Went for precise technique and then life node here. Well, I like this attack cluster here. it's pretty good, but yeah, we didn't end up taking it. Uh, we have the Warcry cluster, Max Life clusters. We don't actually need the mastery for the accuracy. Play plenty. Um, you know, some of that. We took the elemental res here. Like, this would be the next thing for me to really be like getting out of the build and investing these points and like my next couple levels into endurance charges. You know, like getting the max endurance charges, kind of thing. But yeah, like I said, I just don't feel the pressure to actually want to push it. We did that, and then we grabbed the crush enemies. This was the for the ignore PDR. We were trying to farm Delhi a little bit and whatnot. So I mean, this is obviously a swappable cluster into something else, and then this we just went for feed the fury for the most part here, for the attack speed and whatnot. Couldn't get the I forget what the other skill is, but I just didn't have the budget for it before. I was just at a point where I was already doing the content, so I never got it. This was super good. Big fan of this destructive aspect. I couldn't really fit pride in until I got that. It just was really awkward with the mana and whatnot. And I was going to commit my next couple levels into the cluster jewel here. Or swap like these points here back into the cluster jewel, but I didn't get a jewel that I ever wanted to get, and I just didn't farm the currency for it. So that's the passive tree that we went for. Fairly close to what Karn is running, but I have a few swaps I did just because I'm not at like the finalized version of an endgame build of it, right? It's like kind of between late game and end game still. So just kind of like what felt good, you know, while I was going through. The max life definitely feels good, although kind of out of the way in a lot of situations at the same time. So I don't know, like you get it. Don't get me wrong, like you get, you know, your max life here, you get some max life to come over across there, but like you have to go out of your way for that one. If you want this cluster, you have to be running precise technique, kind of thing. You know, it's like it's there. Thankfully, it's there. The resistances are nice. I was playing with this cluster here for a while too, but I swapped that cluster just for this to try and farm Delhi better, and then I just never swapped it back. So that is the skill tree and my gear that I went for the pitch, and I'll probably be back. I don't see why I wouldn't be. PoE 2 League is definitely not long enough to occupy me until the next one. There's not enough to do in the game, but certainly not every comparison or criticism that I have in this game is to say that other games are doing those mechanics better or that this game is doing them wrong, but it's more so just how I feel like the mechanics independently stand on their own, right? So map progression and gear progression in general, I think just doesn't feel good enough. I don't think you feel the upgrades enough, which is kind of like the inverse of the argument that a lot of other people are saying is that in PoE 2, for instance, you have too much weight on your gear, but in this game, like, there's almost no weight. Like every upgrade that I get is just like a side grade. There's barely any actual upgrades that I get. Like I can gain another 100 HP or whatever on every slot, and then get schizo for the PDR or for the in general damage reduction, and then just scale armor better, right, for more damage reduction, and then endurance charge stacking for more damage reductions. Like that's the reward that I get, sure, but I don't think it feels good, at least with this character. Maybe it's just because the build does everything with little enough gear that I'm not feeling rewarded. Meanwhile, if I was playing various other builds, getting the new chest piece or getting your weapon would just be like a tripling of damage or something like that, or your defense is just to the moon because you now have this unique chest or very powerful synergy between a node or something like that, right? Which we're just not running a lot of that with this build, which is nice. Like you're not hard locked into getting those things. So yeah, that's pretty much concludes all my thoughts for this. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.